Coming up on Mountain News at 6.
Severe weather rips through several communities, leveling buildings and killing more than a dozen people. We'll have team coverage of the destruction.
And it just picked it up and twisted it over onto the top, and it just slid back.
We'll talk to some people who say they were lucky to escape with their lives.
Even in Haiti, and I haven't seen anything as bad as I saw in West Liberty today.
And officials are in disbelief after seeing what Mother Nature left behind. Governor Beshear says it is devastation unlike anything he has ever seen. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Neil Middleton, leading this special edition of the Weekend Mountain News. At 6, daylight brought a new look at the deadly destruction that has ripped a path through Kentucky.
In so many communities, it has been a stunning sight. The death toll now stands at 18 in Kentucky. Hundreds were injured. It's hard to believe this is downtown West Liberty. There is so much devastation. That's where we begin our team coverage tonight. WYMT's Katie Roach is live in West Liberty.
I have been out here since early this morning. And let me just tell you, when the sun came up, I just could not believe my eyes. The devastation is just, I can't even explain it into words what the devastation is like up there. Now, officials have confirmed 4 deaths here from the storm yesterday in Morgan County. Now, the city has been locked down all day long today so that search and rescue operations can continue. They have been searching those houses 2 and 3 times just to make sure they have not missed anything. Now, I'm told those search and rescue operations will finish up tonight, and then they will begin the debris removal process, which they're just trying to get the city cleaned up.
Roofs torn off buildings, cars turned over, trees uprooted. All that remains of downtown West Liberty is a pile of rubble.
It's very unbelievable, very unbelievable. It's just something that you would see on a movie somewhere, not in your hometown.
Those who did make it back into the city are speechless, seeing their heritage, the city they've known as home, is no more.
A lot of loss to grieve, and our community will have to take time to grieve these losses and then have strength to build back. It's a great place. It really is.
Dale Oakley watched the tornado form behind Advanced Auto Parts where he works.
And I noticed the clouds, the upper clouds, begin to do in a circular motion.
But the full effect was yet to be known until he walked up the road after the storm hit.
It's bad. There's not one place in town that's not touched. Downtown is just gone.
With the city on lockdown, few people have been let in to see what is left, but it's clear not much can be salvaged.
Everything will probably be condemned. Even our old courthouse, which has been there so long, the top's gone off ahead. But this is West Liberty, and it can come back, and it'll still be West Liberty.
He says it's the people that make this city special, and they can rebuild, but it will take time.
Now, I have been talking to some of the EMS workers that were here on the scene last night, and I've heard some amazing stories. They tell me that one man was trapped beneath 8 to 10 feet of rubble, and when they pulled him out, he just had very few minor injuries. And it's stories like that, stories of survival, that I'm just hearing all day long today. Now, the other thing we want to pass along to our viewers is that we're told sometime soon, we're not exactly sure when, they are going to let people back into the city who own houses or own businesses in stages in different parts of the cities at a time, so they can see some of the damage that and assess and try to salvage anything that they can. Now, there are some shelters set up right now at the Morgan County Central High School and the Elliott County High School, but again, just a lot of damage here to be cleaned up, and it is going to take a long time to get the city back to the way it once was. Reporting live in West Liberty, I'm Katie Roach. Steve and Neil, back to you.
Katie, do officials believe anyone is still missing there?
You know, with that, there have been a lot of conflicting reports. They say because there are so many people at so many different shelters or staying with families, they say it's really hard right now. They are working to get one number like that together, but right now, like I said earlier, they have searched the houses here 2 and 3 times just to make sure they did not miss anybody underneath all of the rubble that in the video that you just saw. So as of right now, I don't know the answer to your question.
All right, hopefully no more victims will be found. Katie Roach, live in West Liberty, thank you very much. Now, the mayor of West Liberty, along with the Morgan County Judge Executive, also spoke to reporters late today about the overwhelming amount of help they've received so far.
Now, they both got very emotional when talking about what their citizens have endured.
It chokes you up. You don't know where your family is. It chokes you. But we got through it.
Hopefully Monday we'll have a mobile units for City Hall. We can carry on, and this is a beautiful town yesterday, and it will be again.
Now, a place designed to help the injured in Morgan County was also damaged. ARH officials tell Mountain News their Morgan County hospital was hit by Friday's storm. Here is an eyewitness picture of how the hospital looks today. We're told windows were blown out and doors were ripped off the building. Part of the hospital's roof was also torn off. Officials say none of the patients or staff inside at the time were hurt. They were transferred to other hospitals in the region. We are told the emergency room is currently open and running off of generators. Well, the storm blamed for all this destruction started rolling through in the early afternoon hours on Friday. We were watching it.
Absolutely, and our weather team, led by Chief Meteorologist Jim Caldwell, was on the air for hours tracking the dangerous weather. He saw the destruction in his hometown of Salyersville earlier today, and tonight he's live in West Liberty with our first look at the forecast. Jim?
Yeah, I had to take the long way around due to the fact that there was just so much destruction over in Salyersville as well. We were unable to reach my father on a personal note, and I was on my way finally in the area to go see if he was at the house, and my brother got in touch with me saying that he was A-OK. So that was a huge relief, and then I was allowed to come on over here. And I came here not as a reporter. I came here just as a person, and along the way just talked to some people here, and these people are absolutely devastated. This is absolutely one of the worst things I've ever seen. This is an overused phrase, but this really does look like a war zone. It looks like what you see in the movies, what you see that we broadcast from all of the war scenes from around the world. That's what it looks like right here in downtown West Liberty. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Now, the storm responsible for this, it's still, they're still really debating on exactly what level it was. Unconfirmed, could have been an EF3 tornado. Let me show you what's going on out there first. Live pinpoint Doppler, it is fine. It is fine out there. The weather situation, very calm and quiet here, just cool, which is not what these folks want to see. Now, let me show you some information, first of all, from one we do have confirmed. That will be out in Laurel County. That comes in at an EF2 storm, and notice there, a lot of unavailable information at this point. The reason being, these teams are out there working all over the place trying to gather as much information as they can. So we have a lot of not available information. But if it comes in at an EF2, that's 111 to 135 miles per hour. Here in Morgan County, again, unconfirmed, coming in anywhere between 136 to 165 miles per hour, which makes that a powerful storm. It's the first F3 since May of 1988 here in Kentucky, in eastern Kentucky specifically. So that goes to tell you how powerful and how rare these storms are here in southeastern Kentucky, guys. But I'll tell you, I have never, ever, I've seen flood damage. I've seen that. Friends, family, everyone there back home. But to see this, what I walked through downtown here today, it's overwhelming, to say the very least, guys.
Jim, I know it had to be tough for you also seeing the damage back in the county where you grew up, and we're going to show you some of that in a minute, but they also had a lot of damage in McGoffin County.
A lot of damage. Kind of hard to believe. These are spots that you go to. Everybody's got a spot in every town that they go, hey, that's my gas station. That's where I'm going to get gas. Well, that's where I'm going to go get the burger, whatever. And a lot of that now gone over there for my friends, my family, the people that I know so well back there in Salyersville. So I tell you what, it's been a heck of a day, guys.
All right. Jim, thank you very much, and I know you're going to talk about snow in a little bit, believe it or not, and we're also going to show you that damage in McGoffin County. But first, let's go to Laurel County, and many people in the East Bernstadt area of Laurel County say it happened so fast. The aftermath of this EF2 tornado is something you can only explain with pictures. By the way, 5 people killed in Laurel County. WYMT's Jerica Ensko has those images and stories of those who survived.
Right here in East Bernstadt, one of the hardest hit areas, people are thankful to be alive, picking up what's left after a tornado picked up their homes, leaving behind only rubble like what you see here. It came and went fast, tearing up homes and breaking hearts. But despite the odds, several people lived to tell their amazing stories.
I couldn't get the door open. It just slammed back with me and kind of knocked me down. And that's when the trailer started spinning. And it spun fast. It didn't seem like that ride lasted 2 seconds until it stopped, and I woke up on the ground, you know.
One man can even say he's a hero, rescuing his girlfriend who was trapped under what once was her home.
It seemed like it was 10 minutes that I hollered for her, and I finally heard her answer me. So I crawled in under here and got to hollering for her, started digging through stuff, and I found her back there pinned.
Well, I'm pretty sore and can't really move, but other than that, I'm glad I'm alive.
Story after story of pure panic and heartache, yet those affected still have high spirits.
It didn't turn out to be too bad a week after all, I guess, you know.
And because they survived, their stories will live on. Although there are many amazing stories of survival, the death toll from the severe weather continues to climb in Kentucky. In Laurel County, I'm Jerica Ensko, WYMT 57 Mountain News.
Jerica, thank you very much. And again, 5 deaths are now blamed on the storm in Laurel County alone.
Now, those affected in East Bernstadt say they have had an outpouring of support from across the region. More than 200 volunteers came to feed, clothe, and help the victims. WYMT's Paige Quiggins has more from Laurel County.
The pastor of the First Baptist Church of East Bernstadt says that individuals, businesses, churches, and even other shelters have come together to provide relief for tornado victims.
People that I've never met before until today were here to just come and do whatever they could. They'd show up smiling and say, "I'm here to help."
Food, clothes, toiletries. Basic necessities provided, many by complete strangers, to victims of an EF2 tornado in East Bernstadt where 5 people died.
Just look around. These people giving up their time and their money and their clothes and stuff, just bringing it into a central location just to help people.
Those who survived say they were lucky to get out with their lives. Volunteers organized clothes, boxed and bagged food and basic items so those who weathered the storm can do their best to move forward.
Kind of reaffirms, people are still good out there. It makes you feel good.
We were very devastated, and I just love how everybody's come here to help and how organized everything is.
It's overwhelming emotionally, it's overwhelming spiritually. It's just a great feeling to see community support each other this way.
Now, the pastor says there have been so many donations in a 6-hour period that they may not be able to use them all. The plan is to hold off on donations for right now to assess what they have and what they need so that they can help other hard-hit areas. Reporting from Laurel County, I'm Paige Quiggins for WYMT 57 Mountain News.
Now, the donation center will be set up for at least 1 week. The pastor says after that, they will evaluate what they are going to do to help the families long term.
Officials have set up shelters across the region for those affected by Friday's storms. For Morgan County victims, shelters are open at Elliott County and Morgan County high schools. Johnson Central High School and Elkhorn City Elementary School, along with the community center in Salyersville, are open for people in Johnson and Magoffin counties who need a place to go. Also in Laurel County, you can go to the Laurel County Fire Department and Hawk Creek Baptist Church. And we know many of you want to help in the aftermath of yesterday's storms. We have teamed up with the Red Cross for the Kentucky Cares campaign, which will provide relief to the storm victims. You can donate several ways. You can text Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. You can also give in person at any central bank location, online at the American Red Cross website, and by phone at 1-800-RED-CROSS. We have also posted several groups who are taking up donations on the WYMT Facebook and Twitter pages.
As people across the mountains work to clean up from Friday's storms, officials remind people to be aware of rogue contractors. They're looking to cash in on victims' misfortune. Here are some tips for avoiding those scams. The Attorney General suggests you never pay in advance for labor. Also use local, reputable contractors if possible. Ask if the contractor is licensed and check to see if the company is registered with the Better Business Bureau. And finally, the AG's office suggests drawing up a contract. Parts of Johnson County are also picking up the pieces tonight. WYMT's Whitney Burks went to Hager Hill and West Van Leer to survey the damage. She joins us now with more from some people who lost everything.
Most of the damage in Johnson County appears to be in the Hager Hill area along Middle Fork Road, as well as in the West Van Leer area. Most of the homes along Middle Fork Road were leveled. The people who live in these areas say they're just trying to start picking up the pieces of their lives. They say they have never seen anything like it.
I just seen a lot of debris flying by my house and everything, and it was a pretty scary feeling.
It's just something we ain't used to. It's just everything's destroyed.
Storms blew through Johnson County Friday night, leaving behind them a path of destruction.
To come out and just see that the devastation that it done, it just amazes me that something like this would happen in eastern Kentucky.
The storms destroyed homes and businesses in Hager Hill and West Van Leer. Officials say the storms are being blamed for 2 deaths on Middle Fork Road, 20-year-old Gregory Perry and 16-year-old Sean Shepard. Perry's friends say they knew he was home during the storm, and when they didn't hear from him, they got worried. They started looking for him around 9 o'clock Friday night.
A bunch of friends and family members and moms and stuff got together, and we found him at about 6:10 this morning.
Now they are mourning the loss of the 2 young lives, but say they are thankful it wasn't any worse.
And try to just keep going. We'll have to pick up the pieces and go on. That's all we can do.
Johnson Central High School is open as a shelter for anyone who might need to stay there, and there are ministries on the way bringing supplies for anyone who is affected by these storms. In Johnson County, Whitney Burks, WYMT 57 Mountain News.
And officials say they are still trying to figure out exactly how many people were hurt in the county from those storms.
Officials in nearby Magoffin County say there were no deaths there, but lots of destruction. WYMT's Angela Sparkman visited some areas that were heavily damaged and has more.
This building right here used to be the Subway restaurant, and this is what many of the buildings look like along Route 114 on the way to the Mountain Parkway. People here are assessing the damage and trying to salvage whatever they can, but many people tell me they are just thankful to be alive. Lana Johnson's second-floor apartment at Pine Point is gone. She was hiding in the bathtub when it hit.
Hearing like a big popping and cracking. And so then it calmed down and I got out and I could see through my roof in the living room.
Donnie Fletcher's apartment also fell apart around him.
Oh, I was in the floor, pinned to the floor on my back, and the blocks are caving in from the basement and covering me up. And then once it removed the apartment, all I seen all around me was electrical lines flying, the power flying, and debris flying everywhere.
Both Fletcher and Johnson were rescued. Dozens of others lost homes in Salyersville and were also rescued. Officials say many were injured. Most of the buildings in town are wiped out. Churches are destroyed. The Salyersville schools are also damaged.
Yeah, I don't know no way to describe it. It's devastating to the community, but I don't know how to describe it.
Crews from several different counties are helping restore power and water and with whatever else is needed. Those who lost everything say they are still thankful.
I just thank God for being able to be here to talk to you.
Oh, and I think God was watching us. Yeah, I'm glad to be alive and with my children.
Officials say it will be a long road to recovery. School Superintendent Joe Hunley tells me he is 99% sure there will be no school all week in Magoffin County. He says they're trying to figure out what to do with the school buildings for the rest of the year. In Magoffin County, I'm Angela Sparkman. Now back to you.
Just more and more unbelievable video. Angela, thank you. Governor Steve Beshear got a first-hand look at the storm damage this morning. He took a helicopter to Salyersville and other areas where he met up with local officials and looked at the hardest-hit areas. The convoy entered the business district where the only thing still there are frames of gas stations, as you just saw in Angela's story, too. Also, restaurants and hotels were damaged.
It's one thing when it's out in the country. It's another thing when it hits towns and hits urban areas. And I know here in Salyersville, it hit a commercial strip down the street here that just devastated it, and of course over in West Liberty, it hit the whole town. So it's the worst I've seen.
The governor also toured Kenton County, where there were deaths reported. He received a call from President Obama while he was there. Beshear says he plans to ask the federal government for disaster assistance.
People in Martin County dodged the worst of the storms, but they were not left untouched. WYMT's Jordan Valines has more.
I heard the saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but the images that you see here behind me are leaving community members speechless. It only took a couple of minutes.
It happened so fast, too. It's just, you didn't even have time to think about it, really.
To destroy a lifetime of memories. People in Martin County describe Friday's storm as surreal. Many of them say they never thought this could happen to their small town. Did you expect this?
No, not at all. Because nothing really happens like this around here, like not tornado-wise.
Neighbors are seen helping one another pick up pieces of their past. But many of them remain concerned over what the future will bring.
They don't even know where they're going to live and where they're going to even store their belongings. You know, they're worried now about trying to get what they can salvage out of their house and find some place to store them.
People we spoke with say they will continue to work until their community is back to normal, no matter how long it takes.
Houses and trees and stuff, but it could have been lives and stuff like that. And I'm just glad that we were safe and we took precaution.
Officials say that it will take months to repair the damage caused by Friday night's storm, but local residents know that it will take much longer to repair the memories that they have of that night. In Martin County, Jordan Valines, WYMT 57 Mountain News.
Officials from the National Weather Service toured the area today. No word on what they learned.
The damage is much more widespread and the death toll is higher than any other tornado event in eastern Kentucky in recent history. On May 9, 1988, an F3 tornado touched down in and around downtown Middlesboro, killing one person and injuring more than a dozen others. Damage to the downtown area was estimated at more than $22 million. On June 2, 2001, an F2 tornado hit London in Laurel County. Nobody was killed, but 10 people had minor injuries. There was more than $17 million in property damage. And one place you see there hit very hard was the Carnaby Square Shopping Center. And on February 22, 2003, an F1 tornado blew through the small town of Athol in Breathitt County. The twister killed 2 people and injured many others. And back in 1988, you covered the Middlesboro tornado.
Well, Tony Turner and I, he got the first call about it, and we thought it was just somebody called from one of the radio stations and said there's been a tornado in Middlesboro. And he said, oh, yeah, right. I mean, you get those calls, there's been a tornado. He got down there, and then he immediately called me, and I remember coming in. As I saw the images coming in last night, it looked eerily similar. But I've got to tell you, it was nothing compared to what I've seen today. No. I mean, I've only been able to watch from the video, but that was devastating back then. But what we have seen today just takes it to another level.
And much more widespread, too.
Right.
Several counties.
Yeah, back then it was right down Cumberland Avenue, and it was really mainly in that area. But here you're looking at numerous counties and just widespread destruction.
I was thinking earlier, you know, I'm a history buff, and the only destruction I think that may compare to this in recent history may be the 57 and 77 floods.
Well, and I was in high school during the 77 flood. Yeah. I was a senior in high school, and I remember that very well in all of eastern Kentucky. Yeah. And I think you're right. It's a different kind of devastation, a different kind of damage. It might compare to that.
Well, lots of cleanup to do, certainly, in the days and weeks to come. Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we'll take you on an aerial tour of the destruction across the state.
And Kentucky was not the only state affected by the tornado outbreak. We'll show you some damage in nearby Virginia. We had a chance to fly over the storm damage across our state today. Our helicopter captured aerials of the hardest hit areas, including Morgan County.
Some amazing video as WYMT Sam Dick reports. The video shows exactly how devastating the storms were.
It sits like a valley of doom. Hardly a single building or structure in West Liberty is untouched. Block after block of ravaged buildings. The severe winds shredded everything in their path. Some still with a roof, others flattened or left in pieces. In Salyersville, it's like a giant chainsaw sheared off the tops of trees before tearing into homes. A slow line of cars, like ants, move in single file. Smaller towns nearby, like Moon, were not spared. Pieces of people's lives strewn everywhere. And in East Bernstadt, the remains of what looks like a business of RVs and tour buses. Trees, flattened like a giant mower, went right over them. To have been on the ground when this happened is beyond a nightmare.
Just incredible. Congressman Hal Rogers released a statement earlier today about the tornado outbreak. It says, in part, the people of southern and eastern Kentucky are always resilient, and now it is the time to pray and band together once more. Cynthia and I send our deepest sympathies to those who have lost loved ones, and we offer our prayers for peace and strength across the region. You can read the Congressman's entire statement on our web channel. State Senator Robert Stivers of Manchester was one of those who got a tour of the damage today with Governor Beshear. He talked to us earlier about what he saw.
Salyersville was hit hard. They lost the McDonald's, the Appalachian Hotel, several service stations. The new health department had structural damages, several houses, but no deaths reported. The city of West Liberty looked like somebody had dropped a bomb. The Methodist Church is gone. Commercial bank is probably a fourth of it has just been pulled apart, windows blown out of it. The courthouse, the old courthouse, the roof is ripped off of it.
Again, just incredible video out of West Liberty. Stivers encourages everyone to go through the proper channels like the Red Cross if you want to help storm victims.
There was also damage in areas bordering Kentucky. The Claiborne Progress reports several homes were damaged or destroyed in Harrogate, Tennessee. The area around Smith Drive and Fulton Road was hard hit. No serious injuries were reported. A possible tornado might have touched down in nearby Ewing, Virginia. At least one family was reportedly trapped for a time in their home after it was damaged. No injuries are reported there. Wind damage and power outages were reported in parts of Virginia and West Virginia.
Now to some other news tonight. A mine foreman was killed early this morning in Harlan County. State officials say 32-year-old James A. Bailey of Loyal was installing a protective covering over a shuttle car called a canopy when it collapsed on him. It happened at the Timber 3 mine near Blair. Parton Brothers Mining owns that mine. This is the first mining fatality in Kentucky this year. A golden alert for a man with Alzheimer's in Pike County is over. Family members say 71-year-old Paul Young was found in Bell County after a wreck. They say he is okay. A search began Thursday for Young after he did not show up at a doctor's appointment and never returned home.
The Whitley County coroner tells Mountain News the remains of a missing Bell County man have been found. 41-year-old Gary Wayne Sayre was last seen at the end of January off Highway 190. That's in the Frakes area of Bell County. His wife said he left with some friends and never returned. Sayre's body was found at a strip mine pit near the Bell-Whitley County line yesterday. The cause of death has not been determined.
Later in sports, we'll hear from the top-ranked Cats as they prepare for their final SEC regular season game on Sunday against the Florida Gators.
And we'll head out to the arena in Corbin for the girls' 13th region tournament semifinals.
And cleanup efforts all throughout southeastern Kentucky might have to go through a little bit of frozen precipitation, maybe some snow later on this weekend, early next week. I'll have more details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
And now, Sky Alert weather featuring Pinpoint Doppler, eastern and southern Kentucky's most dependable forecast. Sponsored by Community Trust Bank, building communities built on trust.
And I'm back here live in just the absolutely devastated city of West Liberty over here in Morgan County. I can remember distinctly seeing the radar and knowing that this town was going to be in trouble, knowing it was passing right overhead when that storm showed up on the live pinpoint Doppler yesterday. And I'll tell you, to come here and see what I have been able to see, it's unbelievable. Just total devastation here. You've heard the reports, you've seen the video, but when you see it firsthand, it's just amazing, and it's absolutely scary. As far as what we're going through over the next couple of days, the forecast is going to change. I'll have more on that. Let me show you what we're talking about now with our live pinpoint Doppler radar. It's quiet. It's just a very calm day now after all of that severe weather here in southeastern Kentucky. Now, so far as tornadic activity is concerned, in Laurel County, that came in as an EF2 storm. Now, just here in the last few minutes, both here in Morgan County and over in Magoffin County, preliminary reports suggest an F or an EF3. All right, now on the enhanced Fujita scale, that tells us it was somewhere between 136 to 165 miles per hour. That is amazing. That is the first time since 1988. Neil and Steve were talking about it earlier with the Middlesboro tornado that we've had that here in eastern Kentucky. Just an amazing storm that came rolling through both counties. Two different cells, but just some tough stuff here. As far as what's going on out there with satellite radar, it has been cloudy from time to time today. We've had some clouds streaming in and out of the skies. Now, eventually, we'll see some more moisture come in from our northwest. Our temperature situation generally running in the 40s out here now as the sun continues to set on this very dark town of West Liberty, with, of course, the power outages here and the nighttime coming on for these folks. As far as the big satellite radar is concerned, you can see that we have been dealing with cloud cover here, but off toward the north, some more energy trying to gather strength, and that will dip toward us, possibly bringing some snow showers toward the end of the weekend and into next week. Let me show you what we have with our 3-day forecast. Tomorrow, around, look at this, 39 for your high. That's not what these folks need. That's not the desirable conditions to have to work in out here to get things cleaned up. You go on into Monday, some snow showers possible, maybe some light accumulation, especially in the higher elevations. But we do recover next week deeper with highs getting back into the 50s and also into the 60s. And a lot of the equipment starting to quieten down over here, and a lot of the crews are also leaving. I don't see quite as much going on just up the street here, and that's the kind of eerie feeling you have. It's quiet, completely quiet, except for just our generator running on the SAT truck, guys. It's a very eerie feeling over here in West Liberty right now.
You know, Jimmy, you're talking 3 EF3 tornadoes in one night in eastern Kentucky, and we always hear that myth, and it is a myth, and you've talked about it 1,000 times, that you can't have tornadoes in certain areas because of the mountains. That's simply not true.
That's absolutely a myth. You will get proof here and proof through other counties here in eastern Kentucky. Tornadoes can exist and can cause massive damage right here in eastern Kentucky, whether it's here in Morgan County where the mountains are a little more on the hilly side, some lower elevated spots, or all the way over into Harlan County where we have the largest mountains in southeastern Kentucky with the highest elevation over there with Black Mountain, Neil.
Jimmy, a CNN meteorologist I heard talking earlier today saying last night the storm that hit West Liberty was the strongest storm he saw of all the ones across the country on radar. And I'm sure that doesn't surprise you.
It didn't surprise me because, again, I talked about this last night. It almost took my breath when we came back and we started really looking at that storm during our coverage yesterday. It scared me. That's how intense it was on radar. And I've gone back today and looked at some of the radar images from yesterday, and I'm like, wow. Everything makes perfect sense now, especially getting here and walking on these streets and seeing what happened downtown here and seeing how intense that was yesterday. Everything came together, and again, this is what you got, all of the devastation in West Liberty, guys.
And Jimmy, we've been talking about it for a couple of days now. We're teaming up with the National Weather Service, and you can go ahead and talk a little bit about the importance of this before we close out here. But we're going to be having some severe weather spotter classes right here at the TV station, and that's really important for people to be trained, especially in days and situations like last night.
That's right, and we all know this because we work there. We get flooded with phone calls at the television station hearing that, oh, there's a tornado. If you call in and you are a trained weather spotter, we know that you have been trained. We know that you have seen video. We know that you've seen all of the necessary information that we can go on the air and say there's a good chance that they're really talking about a tornado over here. So not only that, there's plenty of safety things that you go through when you are in one of these courses. And it's about a 2-hour deal. We're going to be promoting it more and talking more with the National Weather Service. We're getting a final date set up. And we're going to get people over and get you trained so you know what to expect. You know what you're looking at when you look outside. That information is helpful not only for us. I could care less about what we really get if you want to know the truth when it comes down to this, whether you know what to do when it's time to run or when it's time to stay, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. We'll be right back with sports.
WYMT Mountain Sports, sponsored by Appalachian Wireless. You always get more with Appalachian Wireless.
Friday's severe weather pushed back every region basketball game in the state. This afternoon, play resumes as the semifinals of the 13th Region Girls Tournament kicks off the coverage. Number 7, Harlan County taking on North Laurel, the surprise out of the 13th region. First quarter, it's Ashley Woolham hits a wide-open Sam Prophet who hits the jumper here. North Laurel would be up 6. But Harlan County gets right back in it. Brooklyn Massengill had a huge game. The 3 from the corner, and the Lady Black Bears are up 2. To the third we go. Woolham kicks it out to Jessica Boggs. In the corner for 3, North would be down 1, but Harlan County starts to take control. Miranda Davenport on the break for the easy lay. Harlan County would be up 5. Then it's Massengill once again. This time out of the corner for 3 as number 7 Harlan County advances to the finals with a 50-43 win. Let's check out the second game of the day between number 8 Bell County and number 2 Clay County. First quarter now, Macy Morris knocks down the triple from the wing, and the Lady Bobcats take a 3-point lead, but back the other way for Big Clay. Off the miss, it's Morgan Chestnut. She's there for the board and the putback. The Lady Tigers would be up 2. But Clay continuing to get second chance opportunities. Cheyenne Madden, the board and the putback. Clay would be up 4. Time winding down to the first quarter now. Michaela Neal with the pull-up jumper and the friendly roll to beat the buzzer. Bell County would be down 4. But Clay heats up in the second quarter. Alicia Mitchell out of the corner for 3 here as Clay County advances to the finals to win it 53-32. Well, the top-ranked Kentucky Wildcats can sweep the regular season conference schedule tomorrow afternoon with a win at Florida tomorrow. Only twice has it been done in the SEC. The 2003 Kentucky team was the last team to go unbeaten in league play. It's quite an accomplishment when you consider last season's Final Four team had 6 losses in league play. Terrence Jones knows it's not easy to run the table.
It's a special thing to happen, and I think this is a special team with a lot of great players. And I think it just shows how much hard work we've been putting in every practice. And by just executing each game, plan.
The stuff here, there's no setting records. This is trying to be the best team you can be, trying to establish the excellence of a program. But, you know, if they're, believe me, I am not. We're playing Florida, a terrific basketball team, a ranked basketball team on the road. It's going to be very hard for us to win. We know that.
Last night during Sports Overtime, we released the field for next year's WYNT Mountain Basketball Classic. So in case you missed it, here it is one more time.
He just rolled the whole 7 o'clock.
That's sports, and we'll be right back.
One more sports note before we go real quick. Unfortunately, the LSU women beat number 10 Kentucky 72-61 in the SEC tournament semifinals this afternoon. That's going to do it for this special edition of Mountain News at 6. We will be back here again tonight at 11 with more storm coverage. So we'll see you here then. The CBS Evening News is next. Good night, everyone.
Good night.